be here at the Sarasota National Cemetery on this Memorial Day weekend. It's a very solemn place and a place I want to be in order to bring the remarks that I have prepared. I'm going to title my sermon The DNA of Heroism and Sacrifice. It seems appropriate on this weekend especially to talk about that, and in terms of the virus that we're all dealing with around the world. I may look like I'm wearing sunglasses. These are transition lenses. I'm not trying to be cool. It simply is the case that that's what I've got. So I'd like to begin. This honoring of the war dead is an ancient practice. It goes back as far as we know in history. And the idea of honoring those who make extreme sacrifices or great sacrifices on behalf of others is a worthy endeavor, and I'm happy that we're here to do that. To sacrifice means to give up something of great value on behalf of something else. And every veteran, every soldier that's behind here has done that. They may not have died in battle, but they gave up a significant portion of their time in their life in order to serve their country, and we can honor that. The word hero actually comes from an ancient word going all the way back to the ancient Indo-European language, and it meant to watch over or to protect. And I think that's a good definition of hero and of the heroes that we are going to honor today. Because today we're here to honor heroes, we're here to honor their contribution to our life together, and we're here to honor their sacrifices. The cemetery here in Sarasota is less than 10 years old, actually. But in the 10 years that it's been open, more than 21,000 veterans have been interred here. Along with some spouses, there are over 23,000 graves now. So it's they do about 10 burials a day at this cemetery. It is fitting that we come here to honor them and their willingness to sacrifice on our behalf. I want to think a little bit about how all of us probably have connections to veterans in our lives. Either we are veterans, we participated in one of the wars that our country has fought, and there have been many. And I'm not going to get into the pros and cons of any particular war or war itself. I want to focus on the individuals themselves. But either we ourselves are veterans, or we have family members or very close friends who have been involved in the military. My father was in the Army Air Corps in the Second World War, and I remember when he was invited to put on his uniform in the early 1950s and come to the church and make a little presentation. And I remember he didn't want to do that, partly because he'd outgrown the uniform and he couldn't button it, but more so because the uniform brought back some memories for him that were really painful. He wasn't one of those veterans who liked to go and tell war stories. He was very reticent when it came to his experience of the war. He was a nose gunner on a B-24 Liberator bomber, and he trained with a crew in 1943, first in Tomahawk, Nevada, and then down here in Florida. And they, I think, shipped out from Miami, if I'm correct. He trained as a nose gunner. He trained with the crew for the whole time. They built a lot of camaraderie and team spirit, and they bonded. That's the word we would say. And the night or 2 days before he was to be shipped out with his crew to Europe, he came down with a very bad case of the flu. And because of that, they wouldn't let him go. And so his whole crew shipped out, and he remained behind. And he felt terrible about that. But what is worse is that crew that shipped out went down on their first mission, and all of the members of that crew were killed. And my father was so close to them that you have survivor's guilt. You have loss of your friends, of your comrades. And so he was put with another crew and he was shipped over. And I could tell you more stories, but I won't do that. I have a nephew who worked for a career in the Coast Guard. And in the Coast Guard, he was in the Middle East. But mostly in the Coast Guard, he interdicted drug trade. And not an easy thing. He would have to board ships where he didn't know what his safety would be. I have a cousin who, we used to look like twins. People used to think we were twins. He went to Vietnam, and he suffered from Agent Orange being dropped on the troops with whom he was there. And all his life he had medical issues that were related to that particular thing. So I have connections through my family to many veterans who have suffered and sacrificed in order for us to be where we are. And probably that's true for you. I imagine that's true for just about everybody who's watching this video right now. Today, according to our president, according to everything we know actually, we are engaged in another great and global struggle. He calls it a war. And I'm willing to go there. The struggle against COVID-19, the novel coronavirus. It's a struggle that is engulfing the entire planet. And for the first time in maybe human history, we are all of us going through the same experience around the world. All of us are being shut in and shut down in villages, in towns, in cities, in countrysides, wherever we go. That is the case. And unlike a normal war that we think of, if there is such a thing, the front line to this war is everywhere. It is everywhere, and so everyone is somewhat touched by it and involved in it. So all of us are, in a sense, enlisted in this struggle, and all of us are invited, are asked to participate in necessary sacrifices in order to overcome the virus and in order to protect others in our community who are vulnerable. I want to talk particularly about some of those on the front lines of the battle against the coronavirus. I want to talk about the doctors and the nurses and the people who clean the hospital rooms and empty the trash as well. I think we should maybe even talk about those who deliver our packages and sell us groceries when we get to the grocery store. Certainly, we have to think about those people who are forced to work in meat packing plants, for example, in order that we can have meat on our tables. That or lose their jobs. It is estimated that of all the cases of COVID-19 reported in this country, 20% of those cases are frontline healthcare workers. I know nurses. I know a lot of nurses, and my mother was a nurse. And I pray for them every day that they will be spared the agonies that we have seen people go through. Well over 100 of them have died, but nobody knows for sure because they're not keeping good records, good data. They're trying to understand that. But if there's a web page I advise you to go see this weekend. It's called Lost on the Front Lines. Lost on the Front Lines. Go see that. And see, it's got the pictures of all of those Americans who have passed away, who were on the front lines of fighting the virus on our behalf. There are their pictures and their stories, and they are from everywhere. They are from Texas and Massachusetts and Ohio, but also Iraq and Afghanistan. I mean, it is amazing the diversity of the workforce there. They're of every race, every ethnicity, every religion, every sexual preference, every gender identity. They're all in this page of those who have given their lives on our behalf to fight this virus. The youngest one is 20 years old, just beginning a career. The oldest one was 99 years old. Can you believe that? It's true. So the delivery people, the mail people, the packager, those who do groceries, all of those people we need to be thinking about as our heroes. So what is their DNA? What makes a hero? What makes one willing to make sacrifices on behalf of others? It would appear, when you look at the news, maybe not everybody is willing to make sacrifices on behalf of others, but most are, I believe. That is a characteristic of the people of our country. What is the DNA of heroism and of sacrifice? What makes soldiers willing to fly in tin cans miles almost above the earth, engaged in combat? What makes healthcare workers willing to go right into the place where they are most vulnerable, and without sometimes the personal protection equipment that they so desperately need? What is it? Are they special? Do they have special genes that make this possible? I don't think it's the case. I think you would do that. I would do that if we were in such a situation. I don't think it's the gene sequence. I don't think any amount of study will ever show that. I think rather the DNA of heroism and of sacrifice is located more likely in their families, in their schools, in their religious communities, among their friends, the teachers, their scout leaders, their friends who taught them and gave them the values of sharing, the values of caring for others, the values of protecting those who are vulnerable. Because of their courage, and because of their sense of duty, and because of their caring, and because of their vocation, they emerge then as role models and heroes for us. And they make us better people because we want to live up to the quality that they have embodied. Do you remember the song Wind Beneath My Wings by Jeff Silbar and Larry Henley? It has these beautiful lines in it I'd like to close with. It must have been cold there in the shadows to never have sunlight on your face. You were content to let us shine. That's your way. You always walked a step behind. So we were the ones with all the glory, while you were the one with all the strength. A beautiful face without a name for so long. A beautiful smile to hide the pain. It might have appeared to go unnoticed, but I've got it all here in my heart. I want you to know, I know the truth. Of course I know it. I would be nothing without you. Did you ever know that you're my hero? And everything I would like to be? I can fly higher than an eagle, for you are the wind beneath my wings. You, unsung frontline heroes, are the wind beneath my wings.